Thank you for joining us. The Democratic caucus is very frustrated. I think the American people are very frustrated that we cannot move on to the debate on Wall Street reform. Let me just share with you a comment that one of the individuals from my state who called me. We've had a lot of calls, people saying, get on with this, get the Wall Street reform bill done. And one of the callers said, you know, don't you think this bill could be improved? And my answer is, we'll see when we consider amendments. The vote to move forward is so we can debate the bill and that we can consider in open debate with the American people watching us the different amendments that may be offered to strengthen this bill. But quite frankly, we're concerned as to what the Republican strategy is all about. They won't let us get to that point. And we are coming to the conclusion that they want to see their changes made without the public knowing it's being done. We expect that they want to weaken this bill from the regulatory point of view. This bill is strong in new regulations to make sure that the reckless gambling on Wall Street comes to an end. And too big to fail ends. No taxpayer support for Wall Street. This is the risk of the investors. This is the risks of the institutions. And this bill provides for that. We're concerned that they want to weaken the consumer provisions. And they're trying to do it without their fingerprints on the amendments. So for all these reasons, we think it's critical to get to the debate, to bring forward a bill and go through the amendment process. And that's why we have continuously brought this issue up. And we're going to continue to do it. We think Wall Street reform must get done and must get done now. And we want an open process for it. We don't want to see it done with these secret deals where they think they can get away with weakening the bill. So that's the reason why we're staying here. And we plan to stay here tonight. We plan to debate the bill. We plan to ask the Republicans for consent to move forward. And we're hoping that they'll allow us to move forward with consent. Again, not restricting the right to offer amendments. I know some of my colleagues, every once in a while when they're on the floor, they feel a little lonely. They'd like to see a little bit more members come over, so it's possible we'll have some quorum calls during this process to make sure people are around. Because we think it's important that we're here working on Wall Street reform. And quite frankly, we're going to stay on this issue because we think that the American people have a right to expect that the Senate will work until we get our job done. And that's how important this issue is. And we intend to move forward on the issue this evening. And hopefully we'll have some more votes or consents. And hopefully we'll finally be able to at least get to the motion to proceed, pass, and then we can, of course, go into debate and consider the amendments and take the amendments up on their merits. There's no restrictions at this point on the considerations. I'd be glad to try to answer any questions that you might have on this.
Senator Cardin, what kind of amendments do you plan to offer to the bill?
There are some amendments that I will be offering that will deal, I think, will enhance the bill. I've been involved in financial literacy. There's a provision in this bill on financial literacy. I think we need to save more as a nation. I think young people need to understand financial literacy. The bill contains some provisions on this. We're going to try to strengthen those issues. I expect there will be bills in to try to deal with some of the concerns that have been expressed. Quite frankly, I feel pretty comfortable with the underlying bill. To me, it does provide clear regulatory framework based upon the size and the jurisdiction of the financial institution. It does provide the tools necessary for early intervention to either close down a financial institution that's in trouble or to sell it off or to deal with it in some other way without taxpayer support. And that's what I want to see, and it has an independent consumer division, which I think is also very important to protect not just financial consumers such as mortgage homeowners. In my state, we had a lot of predatory lending. I want to make sure we have the protections in place to make sure that doesn't happen again. We've also had discrimination against small businesses and minority businesses, and I want to make sure we have adequate oversight in all those areas. And quite frankly, the Dodd bill does provide for an independent consumer agency, which I think is very important to maintain.
Senator, how late will you go? Can you paint a picture for us?
You mean how early? Right, well, we expect to stay in session.
You said in terms of the clock, sir?
We intend to stay in session. There's no, we believe that, hopefully, I mean, if the Republicans let us get to the bill, then I think the leader Reid is prepared to work out a reasonable work schedule to complete this bill in a timely way, giving everyone opportunities to offer their amendments. If we can't get to the bill, then we plan to stay in session to make that point and to debate the issue.
Senator Cardin, if the Republicans haven't caved on this yet, what makes you think at this point that what it really amounts to is political theater, if you will?
Not at all. Not at all. You know, I've been in the Senate now a little over 3 years, and I've seen something develop here that is really new for the United States Senate, and that's the misuse of the filibuster and 60-vote threshold. I say misuse because it's been used over 150 times. There's been delaying tactics or objections or the requirement for cloture. The problem is that my constituents don't quite understand that. They don't see the Senate here, and they therefore don't understand what the filibuster is all about. Why aren't we here doing our work? Well, we're going to stay here and do this work. Wall Street reform is that important. So we're going to stay here. And if the Republicans are going to filibuster it, the American people are going to see that they're filibustering this issue. The tragedy is they're filibustering us going to the bill, not any one bill or any one amendment. They're filibustering the opportunity of the United States Senate to debate Wall Street reform. And I think that point has to be made clear.
Why not force them to actually,
I hope not. You know, I was asked that question. I think I have a reputation of working across party line. I continue to do that, and will continue to do it. It's the better way to work. It's much better to work across party line to get things done. But at the end of the day, the American people expect us to take up these issues. And if you tried, and you've tried, and you've tried, and you can't get the bipartisan support you would like, then you have to at least move forward and then allow the chips to fall where they're made. Quite frankly, I think we have sufficient votes to pass a bill. But you'll never be able to do that if they kill the bill by delay. Yes, we should work together. And I think Leader Reid has offered many opportunities to the Republicans to guarantee that they'll have the opportunities they need on amendments, and there's negotiations taking place. But unless you start on this bill, we'll never be able to consider it in a timely way. The clock is rolling. There's not that many weeks left in order to consider the legislative agenda of this Congress. It's time for Wall Street reform.
Senator, why not actually force a real filibuster? Why this sort of pseudo filibuster you've got?
This is the only thing we can do under the rules of the United States Senate. The rules of the United States Senate give us very few options to stay in debating issues. Unless you can get the cloture vote, you're on a motion to proceed. So we're keeping the motion to proceed before the Senate. So we're on the motion to proceed to the Wall Street reform bill, and that's debatable. We think we should end debate and vote on it. They don't want to end the debate. So we're in a filibuster. This is what a filibuster is about.
Senator Wilson, how many Republicans actually come to the floor tonight? Is there a way for you to force them to the floor at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning?
You know, as I said, sometimes it gets lonely, so you want to make sure that a quorum is still present, so you can ask for a quorum. So you can, there are procedures for votes. I don't know whether my colleagues are going to ask for those procedural votes or not, but it's always possible there could be procedural votes.
Senator, is there a possibility that there could be another cloture vote in the middle of the night? Because I know that Leader Reid filed that.
Oh. I think you have to ask the Leader Reid that question on the timing on the next cloture vote. But at this point, I'm not aware of any efforts made to have a cloture vote before tomorrow morning. But that you have to ask Senator Reid's office.
Are you saying that you're going to stay in session until the cloture is in vote on this?
I'm saying that we plan to stay in session.